Welcome to Toy Business Unboxed, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here's Jason Shea, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed. I'm your host, Jason Shea, where we uncover stories and insight behind the toys and games industry. Today's I'm joined by Richard, creative forces with over 50 product ideas and also a very prolific inventor. Richard's journey as an inventor really highlights the highs and the lows of bringing unique concept to market. Together, we'll dive into the invention process and explore the challenge of pitching ideas in today's toy industry, and learn how he stayed inspired despite of all the adversity that he have faced over the years. So thank you again for joining me on today's interview, Richard.
Thrilled to be here.
I know you have been doing this for quite a while now, and I guess can you go back in time and tell the listener about your journey? Because I know you have some background in advertising, then you become a toy inventor. What inspired you to make that shift?
I was an award-winning creative director at the major ad agencies. And one day I was visiting my mother in the hospital in West Palm Beach, and she fell asleep in the hospital. And I walked outside to kill about an hour, and there was a Toys R Us right outside. So I wandered in, looked around, and I said, oh my God, I can do better than this. With very little originality, very little. So when I got home, I did some research and I said, I can do better. So I started inventing. And one of my first inventions I sold almost immediately. There were skydiving frogs. When skydivers jump out of an airplane holding hands in a circle and they fly, I went to an air show and I pasted 6 frogs together and I presented it to Play Visions in Seattle. And they loved it and moved ahead with it immediately. You toss it just like a Frisbee and it flies beautifully. And then I did skydiving pigs. I
like that one.
Stopped making them after 4 years. They put them in aquariums and zoos, but they never put it into the mass market. So now I own all rights and I have the molds. So I'm looking for a toy company to hand it off to. They fly beautifully and they have goggles and backpacks and I have the factory. So that inspired me. So then I came up with a slogan. I can see what's not there. When I would go in and look around at toys, immediately I'd say, hey, there's nothing like. So I started inventing things that you must, as an inventor, look through the internet to make sure that someone else has not invented it. And one of my biggest problems with the toy industry is if you come up with an idea, let's say there is an idea, but you do a much better version, a much better one, then they say, oh, that's been done. They say, oh, that's been done. The perfect example is I came up with an idea. Everyone now has a rescue dog. So I came up with this idea, Rescue Me, a scruffy dog, a very scruffy dog. Rescue Me. You rescue it, you shampoo it, and you adopt it, and it comes with adoption papers. I went to Toy Fair with this. Oh, that's been done. You know what was done? Little fluffy little dogs that were a little bit dirty. Not an adult dirty rescue dog. They were fluffy for little kids. But it doesn't matter. In the toy industry, there's a Bible, a religious thing. If it was done, it doesn't matter if it's 1,000 times better. It's been done. That's really terrible because everybody has a rescue dog. And this is wonderful because that inspired me. But when I went to Toy Fair, my first Toy Fair, very little originality. I must tell you, it's archaic. The marketing people are not the sharpest. The owners of the companies, the smaller ones, they're not open to fresh new ideas. I had developed some of the most amazing, fresh, original ideas. Booth after booth, it was ridiculous. I had this. This is called Space Kids.
Yeah.
I have capsule made. These are little dolls that come down in these capsules to be adopted. They're like alien and comes with adoption papers and a map of where they came from. They're called Space Kids. And nothing like it. Years ago, Cabbage Patch Kids, the greatest hook is adopt them. So with Space Kids, they would adopt them. And when the hatch opens, I have a recording at point of purchase. As this opens, you hear a recording. And it's a little girl. Hello, my name is Zena. I come from the planet Venus. And this spacey music. I had a recording made. So at point of purchase, you open it. And she says that. How could you not want to take her home? Nobody. Girls aren't interested in space. Morons. A lot of the owners of toy companies they have blinders. Girl astronaut. This is a new age. There's no doll like it. It's been rejected by every toy company. Everyone has rejected it. Absurd. But so I'm just saying, I did plush. Almost every plush is the same. Teddy bears. I did Zonks. Zonks are. I don't have showing it.
Yeah, I can see it.
It has 4 legs. It's beautiful. It's a fish with 4 legs. It's ridiculous. I'm silly. And I have a whole line of these. I had beautiful samples made. No one was interested. I went to every plush booth. So I'm just saying. Oh, and then I go through the expense of having a prototype made. They jerk you around. Oh, is it invented? Steal the prototype. Inventors can't afford prototypes. Intellectual property. I have an attorney who's a friend in Dallas. He gets 10% of every invention. He does everything is patent pending. So the point is, despite this, then occasionally as an inventor, the head of inventions likes something. I do a Zoom meeting and he likes it. I go, oh my God, I can't believe it. He has to go back to his committee, the head of marketing, and he has to present it to his head of, and it dies. A committee cannot. Steve Jobs went ahead with the Apple phone. A committee. Someone told me a camel is a horse designed by a committee. You can't have fun. You need a tyrant. You need someone like Isaac Zarian who says, I love it, let's do it. You can't ask the head of marketing, the head of sales, the head of this, the head of that. I have a few things under consideration. I'm a very prolific inventor. My kids, I had 2 boys, they could not catch a ball. It's very hard for little kids the first time to catch a ball. The ball would bounce off their chest. So I came up with the flinger ball.
Yeah, you showed me that.
8 rubber soft handles. So when it comes to the kid, they grab one of them. And to throw it, they throw it like this. Rejected by everybody. I have had more rejections but they say, oh, do you have a prototype? A prototype of this would be expensive. I can't afford it, but it would be the easiest. Oh, I have a video. Dad and a kid having a catch. A beautiful video. One of the companies liked it, and they said, oh, but we need a video to see it in action.
Yeah, but I understand the struggle and the frustration you're facing, Sue, because
it's very frustrating. I'm sorry.
Because the toy company, they are also worried about the investment and what is the return on investment if they do invest in the product. So from my perspective, being a toy entrepreneur myself, sometimes it might be easier to launch our own company, which I did many years ago. And instead of launching, I think you have a lot of wonderful ideas, but sometimes based on what you have shared with me, it's hard for some of the bigger toy company to open to the new ideas a little bit.
I came out of the advertising business. I was on covers of magazines. I won awards. I was pretty famous. And when you have a good idea, they do a focus group. They should do a focus group. If they got little girls together, 10 little girls and their moms in a room, and presented this to them or any of my ideas and get feedback by the kids, by their moms. They don't do that. They do it by their gut. They look at, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know kids. But focus groups in malls, they would stop people with little kids and for an hour, take them into a room, give them $20, and they'd videotape a focus group. There's zero research anymore. So there's nobody making a wise decision. I came up with a bath toy of 4 fish that fit into each other called Gobblefish. 4 plastic fish that fit into it. I have more failures than you could imagine. Oh, this is very important. Extremely. Toy companies will not break category. If I present this to them, oh no, we don't do dolls. We don't do flying toys. They're like this. If it's not what they do, they won't consider it. So I said to them, but if it's an unusual doll, hire one person to run a doll division. If you love it, and I know a person, a friend of mine, Maggie Bermudez, she was the head of a doll division for a big company, and she is freelancing in San Diego. She would love, they could just take my friend who's a doll expert and have her run the doll division, even freelance, because they're afraid of dolls. Oh, we don't know dolls. We don't know the buyers. So if they're not into dolls, they don't know who to call or who to show it to as clients, as customers. But I said, you can get into dolls. Do this one to start. Bring in a doll expert. That you don't have to know the company. But no, they won't do it. They say, oh, no, we don't do bath toys. We don't do flying toys. And then they, oh, no, we don't do plush. I get that's the worst thing. And you can't convince them to take on a new category. There's a comfort zone. A doll company won't take plush or flying toys because their salespeople have a network of people in a specific category. They won't go into a new category. So, for instance, an outdoor toy I came up with is brilliant. It's called Sprinkler Kids. It's a wetsuit with holes in it.
No.
Everybody has a hose. Kid puts on the wetsuit. You attach the hose in the back, and the kid becomes a sprinkler. Would you imagine the kid? He would be like Jesus walking around the lawn. Every kid in the neighborhood would say, oh, my God, I want one of those. I pitched this. No one was it. And you know why they're not interested? They said, great idea, but we don't do water toys. You understand? True, 100%. So you have to go to a company that does water toys. But why can't any company, Jazzwares, any of them, say, look, we don't do water toys, but we could sell 1 million of these. All you have to do is contact the outdoor buyer at Walmart or whatever and present it. It's not so hard, but they will not break. You could talk to presidents of toy companies. Everyone will tell you they will not break. This would be so much fun, Jason, because the kid could, as he walks, he sprays everyone, the car, the people, and everybody has a hose in the backyard. We would have to design a waterproof wetsuit with holes. And once he turned it on, the kid becomes like Jesus. I'm not kidding. It's crazy, but I could not.
So you have mentioned about how companies are resistant to some of your toy invention. How do you approach pitching to this company differently? Or do you have any, based on your experience, do you have any tips? Of course, thank you for mentioning about finding the right category of the company.
I go on to LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, you go to a toy company, Spin Master, whatever, and you find the top executives. You send them a nice note telling them what you do. I say, I can see what's not there. Could you please connect me to your inventor relations person? So I write, I have to sign an NDA, then I send my inventions. Sometimes they do a Zoom meeting with me. It's better. I do a Zoom meeting with the head of inventions. And if they like something, they take notes and they present it to their people. 10 out of 10 times, when they present it to their people, it dies. And I'm really good. I was in advertising. I was a very famous creative director. I did memorable commercials. I was on cover of a magazine.
Have you ever considered just to launch your own Kickstarter campaign instead of relying and at the mercy of the other toy company?
Can't afford to launch myself, but on Kickstarter, the moment you put it on, it could be knocked off, boom, in a minute. Everything I've done, let's say plush. Oh, someone could do it animals with 4 legs. If I do the sprinkler, this would be great. But you realize the moment I put it on, 1 million people see this and they can do it? That in China, there are companies in China. It's the only country where they knock things off. I know someone, they knocked his product off and used the name. That's the nerve that they have. Not everyone, but I think that
I think that's always going to be a possibility, either if you launch yourself or launch to a bigger toy company. But I think the speed to market is obviously one thing we also need to
that I should pick out one of my toys and do a Kickstarter campaign. But I'm not in a position to run a company and deal with manufacturing and sales and marketing. I'm a really good inventor. And there really is, I'm a marketing person. That's the secret. Inventors sometimes, I'm an inventor. Every idea I come up with is based on demographics. I understand demographics. When I looked at sprinklers, I said, what can you do with a sprinkler? And I came up with something that no one's ever done. I turned the kid into a sprinkler. Brilliant. One of my best ideas, even Whammo. I know David Wang, he's the head of inventions of Whammo, did the hula hoop, and they have water toys. And still, he says, might be dangerous. It's perfect for Whammo. And he knows me. He likes me. I met him at Toy Fair. So even though they do water toys, they have a water slide. That's their big toy. It's not dangerous. It's an insulated little wet hole, and you attach the hose in the back, and it spritzes. It's a dumb. You could do that and make $1 million. Nobody has it. And at Toy Fair, you take the smallest booth in the world, and you put a kid in it in a plastic little cube. So the kid is. Could you imagine at Toy Fair? People from all over the world come buyers. There's nothing like it, and kids love water. So if people would test my inventions, expose them, there's a thing you can do at a mall. You can actually stop people. You can hold the item and say, "Excuse me, could you?" And just show it to the little kid and video they do nothing. They're unsophisticated. The toy industry is unsophisticated. They have no idea. They fly by the seat of their pants. If they see someone else do something, then they knock it off. Can't do something totally original. If you do some research, you're not taking a risk. This is a theory. It's feasibility study. If 7 out of 10 prospects say yes or maybe, you should go ahead. I used to show new products. For advertising agencies, I invented a lot of new products. At the focus group, 7 out of 10 have to be enthusiastic. 7 out of 10, that's a high number, but they feel that is enough. Sometimes they stop people in malls in 4 parts of the country, 25. They say you have to have 100 people ask. You stop 100 kids and their moms. 7 out of 10 of the 100, 70 have to say yes or maybe. At least if you're going to spend money, you could even videotape them. All right, let me just say one thing. I took a few of my things to a nursery school in the town where I live. I live in Hastings on Hudson, and the kids loved it. I went to a nursery school and showed it. The kids passed it around. They said, "Look, fish don't have legs." Evolution. For smart people, fish walked out of the water and became lizards, but no one's interested in that. All right. Then, people say, "No, I want a toy that does something. I want a toy that walks." So I presented a mechanical version of this where you put it, and you just wind it up, and the legs walk. You can make it walk. And then they said, "Oh, but you could make it even a water toy that you put in the water and it walks out of the water." Could you imagine seeing a fish walk out of the water? People would flip out. So, but I'm too good, okay? I'm too sophisticated for the toy industry. That's what I feel. Because things I do, like the ball that's easy to catch. A toy company should say, "Oh, we'll make a prototype. Let's try it." They can afford to make a prototype. I can say, "You have exclusive rights, make a prototype, have some kids have a catch," and that's it. It's so simple. But I struck out. I did have people like things, and I got back to them. But I must say, and I did an adult board game. Adults play. Everybody knows that when you go into a hospital, check in, they tell you, get out as soon as possible. Don't stay in the hospital because you catch things in a hospital. And things go wrong in a hospital. So I came up with the hospital survival game. What it is, it's everything that could go wrong in a hospital. You play the game to start. You pick a card, and it tells you what disease or medical condition you have, the first card. And then you have to go around the board without dying. You pick a card that says you went into surgery, they took off the wrong leg. That spot on your chest, it's not skin cancer, it's a Krispy Kreme donut. Funny things. I had funny, all the cards. Let me just show you. I have the board. Listen to this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have a surgeon going into surgery, and he has a seeing-eye dog and dark glasses. He's blind. Surgeon. And there are cards that say ailments, survival, and screw-up. So the point is, this is a fun, light-hearted game. Every hospital has a gift shop. There are 100. This would be a great thing in a gift shop in a hospital to give someone who's in the hospital. And I think that doctors, nurses, it's a fun piece to write. Before I did anything, I was a comedy writer. I wrote for comics.
Okay, I see.
I wrote, and then I went to their performance. I was a good comedy writer. So a lot of these cards are very funny. It's humorous, lighthearted, hospital survival game. I presented it to 3 of the biggest game companies at Toy Fair, and they all rejected. And they didn't tell me why.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Part of it, I think, is to get to the president or the chairman of the company. You can get to the top person, like Steve Jobs. There's a reason the top guy is the top guy. And I think that, just think of how frustrating this cost me. I got the best illustrator. A friend is a very good illustrator to do the illustration. I wrote the cards. I protected it. I did so much work on it. And then I went to the toy companies. I can tell you who they are. Not one of them jumped at it.
That's why I have been trying to encourage you, just launch yourself. I'm
a senior guy. As you know, I have a lot of energy. I'm a senior guy.
Yeah.
This past year, I lost my son to fentanyl overdose.
Oh, yeah. Sorry to hear
He was 40 years old. He lived in Berlin, and my life has been a disaster. I spent thousands of dollars in drug rehabs. I can't afford it. But there are people, and an inventor gets the most of 5%. The person I'm handing off to takes 95%. And I'm dynamic, I'm positive, I'm funny, I'm aggressive. And if I can't do it, nobody can. There's also another inventor called Richard Levy. He did the Furby.
Sometimes same name? Same name as you.
A lot of the times when I pitch someone, they get right back to me thinking it's him. And then I said, no, it's the other Richard Levy. I once met him at Toy Fair. He's pretty famous. He has a book. He did the Furby. They're relaunching it. So it's a crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
But I love it. I'm not giving up. I even invented a baby bottle. Let me show you. One last thing. Let me show you a baby bottle.
Sure.
No one has ever. I look at things that are ordinary, and I made it special. They sell millions. At point of purchase, a mom goes in to buy a baby bottle. Now, babies have to hold on to the bottles. They can't drop it.
Yeah.
Look at this. For the bottle rocket. You know why? Because kids can hold the wings and drink it. But just think of this in the store versus the baby bottles. It has a great name. It's simple. Wouldn't cost it. I got it to a couple of companies that do young kids stuff. Rejected. It's beautiful. It's fun. And it's functional because the kid can hold it. Because otherwise, I'd say 90% of baby bottles in this world are like this, ordinary. That's it. But isn't it easier for a baby to hold on? But this is a marketing idea. Do you know what I mean? Just think of this. They have a display of baby stuff.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's different. I try so hard to be different. This would be so easy to launch. Very small investment. They could just make a mock-up. I don't have a real prototype and give it out to moms and let them try it. If this was handed to a baby, they would know what to do with it. It's an instinct to hold on to it. So this is a perfect example of taking the most ordinary thing in the world. It's 1,000,000 years old, thousands of years old, baby bottles. Nothing has changed in every country. Yet I took a baby bottle and so simply just modified it a little bit. I made it with a little pink, and it would come in pink or blue. I could hand this off to you. Believe me, the baby buyer at Walmart would take, because everything else is nothing. It's nothing. They could charge more. A baby bottle might be $2.50 or $5. I don't know how much a baby bottle costs. This could get more money because it's fun. Everything I'm showing you would be exclusively for you if you want it. You have absolute rights to everything I've done. At this point,
of course, we'll also share that with our listeners. See if there's anyone that's listening to our show and watching the show would be interested to reach out.
Anything that you would, because at this point, I'm not looking forward to the next toy fair because it's so frustrating to present something. You look at first, I do a pass. I go through and see what they have. I go through it the first day to check out what they have.
Yeah.
So I know how to position it against what they have. I could say, if it's a doll company, I said, you don't have anything like this girl in a little space. Also, I said they could be this small. You could make them small. They don't have to be this big. This cost me $2,500 to make. $2,500. Beautiful. Yeah. The best toy designer in the business, Rita Hope, did this, and she made me the doll. I was so sure that I would sell this. So I made the investment. So it's the most frustrating thing in the world because there's nothing like it. I believe, and it has adoption papers, a little map where it came from. It doesn't matter. And you could even send for more clothes, more outfits so they can make money. She has a nice spacey outfit with boots. At this point, it's so frustrating. I know some toy company presidents that won't break category. Very good. They have toys. Oh, we only do puzzles. I said, puzzles? They said, we do jigsaw puzzles. So I said, I got an idea for you. Do a jigsaw puzzle of flowers and put a scent into the pieces so the flowers smell like the flowers. Oh, that's been done. The point is, I don't know it's been done, but at least for a kid, if you had a puzzle, let's say with fried chicken, and you put it together and it smells like fried chicken. I'm just saying, I bring originality. I met with the president. He's a great guy. Yeah. And I said, okay, you do puzzles. I'll come up with puzzles that you're not doing. And despite that, he doesn't do it. The worst words is, oh, I think it's been done. I have such belief in myself. I have a high self-esteem, just like with these. When I went into the booth at Clay Visions, he took a look at my mock-up. It was 5 frogs taped together, and he said immediately, I love it. Send it to me. We're going to do it. That's how easy it is when it works. And he went ahead and made it immediately. It was sold in zoos and aquariums. I own the rights now, and I'm having trouble handing it off to someone for free. I said, I have molds, it's sold, and I still can't. And still now, I don't know. We don't do flying toys. Anyway, but I love being here. Thank you. I bless you for giving me this opportunity to rant and rave. Indeed,
well, there's always some positive and negative in all the industry, and toy industry is no exception to that. And as an industry, there's still a lot of things that we still need to change. So from your perspective as well, wrapping up today's interview, if you can just change one thing about the way that the toy industry works for the inventor, what would that be?
I think that the executives of toy companies have to treat inventors better. They treat us like second-class citizens, like trash. They don't have open arms, and they're afraid of new. If they're going to take something, if they like it, say we like it, but we're not sure. Let's make a prototype. We'll test it. We'll show it to kids, and we'll get back to you. That's normal. I'm not asking for a lot. The guy I'm presenting it to could go down in his neighborhood to the playground with a mocked up thing and toss it to the kids and say what they've. It's so easy, but I'm not asking for a lot. But I think that they're not open-minded to new ideas. There's very few things when I walk around Toy Fair where I go, oh my God, I wish I had done that. Just think if you went to Toy Fair and you saw the kid with the sprinkler in a booth spraying everything, you go, oh my God, that's great. My kids would love that. That would be a simple thing to do with Kickstarter. I could pitch that. I can't make a prototype. It's too expensive. That's the only problem. I mean, I could try and hope that nobody knocks it off. I have a patent attorney who could patent. And of course, once I do Kickstarter, then go to a toy company saying, oh, they're not the brightest stars in the sky. I wish they were smarter marketing people. I think if they had more women, I found that women in the industry are more receptive than men. Women are more open to new ideas. A breath of fresh air. Too many guys have been in the industry for 20, 30 years, and they're set in their ways. It needs something fresh and new. And you know what? The most frustrating thing is MGA did a line that's making millions called Bratz. They're little dolls. They look like little hookers. Mothers buy them for little girls. Take a look at Bratz. They're wearing cheap outfits, a lot of makeup. They look like little hookers. And yet they sell millions and moms buy them for their little girls. How do you explain that? Oh, Larry, and they're so pleased with this. Look, they're making a movie now because Barbie was this. They're doing a Bratz movie. But next time, take a close-up look at Bratz. Like, it's not an image for a little girl. I wouldn't buy it for my little girl. They're wearing tight-fitting, sexy, and they're called Bratz. So how do you figure that?
Thank you so much for sharing your perspective, and we'll make sure to leave your contact information on
Thank you so much
show.
for letting me do this. It means so much to me. Jason, bless you.
For our listeners, thank you for tuning in this episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We really hope you have enjoyed the conversation and find it insightful and inspiring. If you like what you have heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you'll never miss an episode. We really appreciate your support. We love it. You can leave us a review and share the podcast with your friend and colleague. For more resource tips and the latest update within the toys and game industry, visit our website at toy-launch.com. Join the conversation and connect with us on social media using the hashtag Toy Business Unboxed. We'd love to hear your feedback and suggestions for future episodes. Until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, and keep bringing joys to toys. So this is Jason Shea signing off on the Toy Business Unboxed podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, everyone.